Welcome to Surviving the Side Hustle, the podcast for high performers who've gone all in, but still feeling a little stuck. I'm your host, Rob Tracy, coach, speaker, and creator of the Prime Performance Process. If you're a solopreneur, small business owner, or just launched your side hustle and you're tired of grinding with no momentum, this is for you. Every week, we bring you guests that have broke the code, generated momentum, and finally got unstuck. And we're diving into their stories, their struggles, and their secrets to generating massive momentum in both their personal and professional lives. We don't do fluff here. We do frameworks, real talk, and share the kind of insights that get you unstuck for good. Welcome, and let's get rolling. But before we dive in, I gotta remind you, if you're overwhelmed, spinning your wheels, or just tired of hustling without the results, it's time for a Prime Performance Strategy session. In this free call, we'll zoom out on your life and business, identify the real reason you're feeling stuck, and build a game plan to help you reclaim your confidence, energy, and gain some clarity so you can get back to doing what you set out to do. Lead, grow, and thrive. This isn't surface level coaching. It's a system built on resilience, intentionality, clarity, and alignment. So head over to survivingthesidehustle.com/free call to grab your spot today. Again, that's survivingthesidehustle.com/free call. Let's get going and help you look good, feel good, and do great things. What's up? Quick question. What if the very thing you thought was the end of your story turned out to be just the beginning of your purpose? That's what I walked away with after my conversation with Maria Garcia, a nutrition coach with one of the most inspiring resilience stories I've ever heard. At just 25 years old, Maria suffered a stroke that left her paralyzed from the nose down. She spent weeks unable to speak or move, trapped in her own body, communicating only through blinking. Her recovery was painfully slow. She had to relearn how to swallow, to move her limbs, and eventually to walk again, thanks to relentless persistence and the support of her family. But here's what makes her story powerful. 15 years later, when she thought she had plateaued forever, nutrition became the catalyst for her comeback. Within 6 months of changing her approach to diet and hydration, she regained another 20% of her function, and with it, her independence and purpose. Now, she coaches others to reclaim their health through proper nutrition, mindset, and awareness. From our conversation, the three biggest takeaways that I had was number one being awareness is the foundation of change. Maria says nutrition isn't just about food lists. It starts with food psychology, why you eat what you eat, and what patterns keep you stuck. Because without awareness, every diet becomes another failed attempt. So what I want you to think about from this takeaway is, where in your life are you trying to fix the surface without digging into the root cause? And while you think about that, I'll share that my second takeaway that I got was optimal fuel creates optimal function. Just like every species thrives on its natural diet, humans have a way of eating that allows us to function at our best. For Maria, hydration and reintroducing animal products shifted her body from survival mode to thriving. And I want you to ask yourself, how intentional are you about the fuel you're putting into your body? And is it helping you perform at your highest level, or is it holding you back? This talks to me, and I share this a lot with my clients, in principle number 2 of Prime Performance Coaching, where we really look at the intentionality around what you're consuming. My Jeep framework that I use teaches not only to look at your goals and the purpose behind them, but to also assess the fuels that you're consuming, not just your dietary nutrition, but also your digital nutrition as well, making sure that you're fueling yourself the best so that you can really show up your best and continue to make the impact that you're trying to create in this world. The third takeaway that I had from my conversation with Maria was that resilience requires a big why. See, Maria lived through diapers at 25. She had years of rehab and staring at ceilings for weeks at a time. Her why was simple: never go back. That clarity fuels her choices daily. And for you, I want you to think about, what's your big why? What's the reason you'll stay disciplined when motivation runs out? If you've been following the podcast for a while, or if you know me personally, you know that I'm constantly talking about how motivation is like the weather. Some days it's sunny and energizing and you're excited to go. And then other days it just happens to rain and you just don't have the motivation. But what constantly shows up is discipline. And discipline's what gets you out and gets you moving. And if you want to take it a step further than that as well, is your systems. Things that you set up to keep you disciplined so that you stay motivated and get your goals done. See, this conversation with Maria reminded me of why resilience and intentional living are such cornerstones of prime performance coaching. They're essentially principles number 1 and 2 from what I teach with people when they first come into my coaching realm. Maria's story is an extreme example, but the principles are universal. And when you choose to face discomfort and you build awareness and fuel yourself with intention, you give yourself the chance to grow past limits you thought that were permanent. So if you've been feeling stuck with your health, your business, or life, Maria's story is proof that it's never too late to reclaim your momentum. Start small, hydrate better, check in with your patterns, and reconnect with your why. And if you want a guide, Maria runs both one-on-one and group coaching programs that I'd highly recommend checking out. Because at the end of the day, success isn't about grinding yourself into burnout. It's about building a body and mind that can sustain your goals for the long haul. All right, guys, I'll talk to you next time. Peace, peace, peace. And that's it for this episode of Surviving the Side Hustle. If you found this valuable, the best way to support the show is to rate and review on Apple or Spotify. It helps get the show in front of more driven individuals just like you, and helps them discover the tools to get unstuck, break through burnout, and build something real. And you can always connect deeper with me, our guests, or grab free resources at survivingthesidehustle.com/Rob. Whether it's a strategy call, the Prime Performance Personality Quiz, some of our products, or just to check out our free content library, connect with us over at survivingthesidehustle.com/Rob. And hey, remember this: you weren't meant to just grind. You were built to grow. So stay conscious, stay committed, and keep showing up. Peace, guys.